Hi YouTube, my name is Michael Bernche. I'm a medical doctor and a full professor of sports medicine and exercise physiology at Goethe University, Frankfurt, Germany. Welcome to this very first episode of our series on muscle physiology. When I started this channel, I promised not only to deliver advanced content in sports medicine and exercise physiology, but also to cover essential, foundational topics in anatomy and physiology. So I thought, why not start with a series on muscle physiology. In this series, we'll be covering the fundamentals, how muscle is structured, how we activate it, and how contraction actually works. In today's first episode, we will set the stage by distinguishing skeletal muscle from other muscle tissues that we have in our body. So let's do this. First of all, what is muscle tissue? Muscle tissue is a specialized type of tissue designed to do one thing better than anything else, and that is to contract. So to shorten in length. And that ability to contract gives us movement, posture, internal transport, and even heat. All muscle tissues shares 4 key characteristics. It can be excited, it can contract, it can be stretched, and it can return to its original shape. And get this, skeletal muscles alone makes up about 40% of your total body weight and contains between 50 and 75% of all proteins in the human body. So if you weigh 75 kilos, that's roughly 30 kilos of dynamic, contractile tissue working for you throughout the day when you move, lift, or just maintain posture. But of course, skeletal muscle is just one part of the story. There are other types of muscle tissue as well, and to truly understand what makes skeletal muscle unique, we first need to explore how it differs from cardiac muscle on the one side and from smooth muscle on the other side. So let's talk about the 3 types of muscle that we have in our body. First, skeletal muscle. This is the kind you are probably most familiar with. This is the one you can flex. It's long, it's cylindrical, and has multiple nuclei just because of the huge size of one fiber of a skeletal muscle. It's under voluntary control, so you can command your biceps to contract, for example. And it looks striped or striated under the microscope. It's the tissue that lets you move, walk, breathe, or even smile. By the way, this striated appearance of skeletal muscle isn't just a modern discovery. It was first described over 300 years ago by a Dutch microscopist, and he used a handmade single-lens microscope. Second, there is the cardiac muscle. And of course, this type of muscle you can only find in one place, and this is your heart, of course. It's also striated, but the cells are much smaller. They are branched and they are connected through special junctions called the intercalated discs. Those discs help the heart to contract in a coordinated way. Why? Because you want to push your blood in a certain direction in the heart. Cardiac muscle works without your conscious input. Thankfully, just imagine you would need to concentrate on every heartbeat. Third, there is the smooth muscle. This is found in the walls of hollow organs, your intestines, blood vessels, or your bladder, for example. It's not striated, and its contractions are much slower and more sustained, so it takes almost forever for them to contract. Like cardiac muscle, it's involuntary, so you don't have to focus on pushing your food from one side of your intestines to the other. Your smooth muscle takes care of that for you 24/7. Let's talk about the control systems. One way to understand muscle tissues is by asking, can I control this? In skeletal muscle, this is under your conscious control, like I said. It's connected to the somatic nervous system. Cardiac and smooth muscles, however, are involuntary. So smooth muscle is directly activated by the autonomic nervous system, while cardiac muscle generates its own rhythmic contractions through pacemaker cells. But its rate and force are modulated by the autonomic input. Try this. Take a deep breath. That's your skeletal muscle at work. But now feel your heartbeat. It's doing its own thing 24/7 without you thinking about it. That's the beauty of a biological automation. What about the functional differences? These muscle types aren't just located in different places. They behave differently too. So skeletal muscles, they contract fast, but they are easily tired. So they get fatigued more easily. Cardiac muscle is rhythmic and never stops. Smooth muscle is slow and fatigue resistant. Their ability to regenerate also varies. Skeletal muscle can regenerate to a certain extent thanks to special repair cells, so to say, called satellite cells. But cardiac muscles, they're not that lucky. So this is one reason why a heart attack is so dangerous. What about the adaptations? Muscle tissue doesn't just differ in form and function, it also adapts in ways that are finely tuned to its role in the body. Skeletal muscle, for example, is incredibly plastic. With resistance training, it can grow stronger and remodel its internal structure. Conversely, with disease or disuse, it can atrophy quickly. These are short-term functional adaptations within an individual's lifetime. But evolution has also shaped skeletal muscle in fascinating ways. In some vertebrates, specialized superfast muscles have evolved to meet the extreme demand for rapid movement, up to 250 contractions per second. These muscles power echolocation in bats, vocal control in songbirds, and sound production in snakes. Although they evolved independently, they all share similar adaptations, suggesting a common physiological speed limit for vertebrate muscle. Cardiac muscle adapts too, but over a longer time scale. In endurance athletes, the heart enlarges and remodels to sustain increased cardiac output during the training. However, similar changes can become pathological under chronic pressure overload. So not from the training, so from pathological conditions. Even smooth muscle isn't static. Resistance arteries that supply active muscles, for example, can increase their cross-sectional area over time. This remodeling is thought to be triggered by repeated episodes of shear stress during the exercise, promoting endothelium-mediated changes that improve blood flow. What about the clinical relevance? Understanding muscle isn't just about biology. It has real-world applications. Skeletal muscle is central to sports medicine and rehabilitation. Cardiac muscle is key in cardiology and critical care. Smooth muscle plays a role in digestion and circulation, even asthma. Muscle diseases, spasms, dystrophies, they all trace back to this basic tissue classification. To sum up, muscle tissue is more than just what you can flex at the gym. It's a complex, versatile system with different types tailored to different functions. In the next video, we will zoom in on skeletal muscle and explore how it's built layer by layer until we reach the microscopic machinery that makes movement possible. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and check the video description for sources and extra reading. See you soon. Bye-bye.